Hey guys, with the new year approaching, it is time for me to present my top 5 favorite books of 2016. But Jacob, are these really the favorite books you read this year? Yes, they are, but it does raise an important point that this list isn't the be-all and end-all of my favorite books I read this year. Also, I should be clear that this list doesn't have any proper order. I love all of these books equally. The first book I talk about isn't going to be somehow less loved than the rest. So the thing about The Wise Man's Fear is that while I definitely loved it, I probably didn't love it as much as the rest of the books on this list. I'm only joking. I love this book. The Wise Man's Fear provided me with one of maybe the best reading experiences all year long. It's gargantuan, it's thick, but it's also just full of so much magic and wonder and storytelling craft. I'm very happy I waited about a year reading this, the follow-up to The Name of the Wind, because this book is in no rush at all. It ambles along. There's loads of story, there's loads of incident, there's loads of excitement, there's loads of mystery propelling you forward, but you know that the story is in no rush to get to its destination, and that is fine because it is such a treat. I was also super impressed with just how well written it is. I was reading passages of it to my mom when I was back home visiting. It just happened to be a random passage, and it was amazing to see how enthralled my mom was, not knowing anything else that was going in the story, and just listening to this conversation between Quoth and this other character, and just how well it was presented. So yeah, highly recommend The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. The next book on my top 5 list is Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jesse Andrews. This book I absolutely loved. It had me both like laughing and in tears, sometimes all at once. I just thought it was so well written. I also thought of all the YA books I've read, one of the most cool YA books. It just was just so unfiltered and not afraid to be both sort of profane and outrageous and sometimes offensive, and it did it with just such intelligence. It was absolutely amazing. It's honestly one of those books I wish I could have read when I was in high school. Highly recommend Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. Now, probably the most quote-unquote literary book that I read this year is none other than All of Kitteridge by Elizabeth Strout. And wow, is this book amazing. But also be prepared to read and become super depressed. Suicide, affairs, cancer, and betrayal come one after the other in this book. It's just non-stop, unrelenting, horror of, the human life. I was seriously sad and melancholic the entire week in which I read All of Kitteridge. That said, I was also full of glee and awe at just how an amazing a writer Elizabeth Strout is. Just every sentence and the way, she'll craft a scene or structure a whole story is just magnificent. Absolutely amazing. All of Kitteridge by Elizabeth Strout. Because my top 5 list wouldn't be complete without a crime novel, I had to put on Alex by Pierre Lemaitre. Incredibly dark and raw, Alex follows the story of a woman who's kidnapped, who turns out to be maybe more complicated than just an innocent bystander caught at the wrong place at the wrong time. Super dark and gritty. Highly recommend Pierre Lemaitre's Alex. Then, last but not least, is Slade House by David Mitchell. After finishing Bone Clocks, also by Mitchell, and also I loved loads, I just couldn't fathom that Slade House could be as good. How could a book as small and tiny as Slade House contain the magnitude and virtuosity that Mitchell displayed in the Bone Clocks? The crazy thing is, he did in Slade House. This book contained all of David Mitchell's genre-hopping, perspective-switching, literary chaos, which I loved, and did it all in this tiny package. Absolutely incredible. So guys, those are my top 5 books of the year. Let me know if there were any surprises on here, what you'd recommend to me, and what you guys are thinking of putting on your top 10 lists of the year. If you like this video, please like it, and if you really like this video, please subscribe. Until next time, happy reading. Bye bye bye.